What are you training for? What do you want? And the more specific you are, the better off you are finding a good coach. You need to lean into the work. What's going on, everyone? I am back. We are back from New York City. We had a seminar and certification we went to, Compound Performance. It was phenomenal. My head hurts. My head hurts from the plethora of information. Shout out to Matt and Kyle. They are phenomenal, high-level, very skilled coaches and trainers. They do a ton. It was great to see the contrast between the two of them. Kyle doing a lot of sports-specific stuff and stuff with endurance athletes, and Matt doing such a phenomenal job with powerlifting and all of his people. The program design stuff is great, highly involved. The tests, we will be implementing a lot of them here. It's one of those things where, seeing contrasts between coaches and high-level coaches really prompted me to do this, and I've been trying to do a solo podcast where I just talk very quickly about some basic things for clients to look out for when looking for a coach, and that really just sparked it for me, just sitting there, listening to these two very good coaches talk about training and the clients that they work with, and they work with very specific people. I will actually be working with Matt on a powerlifting program for myself because I have not worked with another high-level coach in like 6 years, and we've just been busy with business, and I've been busy with, life changes and so many things that are highly involved in my life. And I was just like, dude, I need to cut out the bullshit, and I just need to focus on my own training. So how I chose, Matt as a high level strength coach and, powerlifting coach for the things that I want to do. I want to talk about why I chose to work with him, but also why you would choose a good coach to begin with. And a lot of clients get really overwhelmed with the amount of people in your area that you can work with. And I am in a great area. There's so many good coaches around here, including our place. Obviously, our place is phenomenal. And we've exhibited the things that I'm going to talk about today. But so some things that you have to kind of go through first if you're going to focus on selecting a personal trainer or any of those things. So one, are you training now? That's a big one. Like, are you going to the gym and just kind of just going through the motions, just kind of doing things because you saw other people do them or you saw some influencer tell you that you should do them? And I get it. I get it too, because everybody has to start. Everybody starts somewhere. And another thing, I'll only say this. Choose your pain. Whether you choose not to take care of yourself now, trust me, your body will let you know later. So you really have to choose the pain you're willing to go through. If you're not willing to go through some barbell squats or some goblet squats now, a lot of people, it's like you're going to have to be willing to be helped later, get in and out of the car or go up the stairs or do those things. And you have to have the certain things in place to make that happen. Now, I'm not saying you have to have 500 pounds on your back and, to increase your quality of life. All I'm saying is get into the weight room and throw some weights around. Get in there. And I think there's plenty of we can get into the published research on this. It's just like a never-ending, just loads of it. But how about this? Like sometimes you have to do things for just the sake of just doing things because they're difficult. You have to get into it. You just do, and it sucks. I wish I could tell you otherwise, but I'm sorry. You just sometimes have to do some difficult things. So, are you training now? And if you are you throwing weights around, or are you just apprehensive? Do you not want to get started because of you're just nervous? And it's hard to choose so many good trainers and coaches. But I have a good guide for you. And obviously, if you're not going to choose us, which by the way, we have personal training. So we do personal training. I have 6 other coaches here. Personal training from 5:30 in the morning all the way to 9 o'clock at night. And then we have semi-private trainings, breakfast, lunch, and dinner times, for everybody, before work, lunchtime, and after work. which we love. And our program is the only program I've seen in Connecticut like this, the way that we have it, where it's specifically designed for strength training, specifically designed for those movements that matter most. And then, of course, we have online training, which I only take 5 to 6 people a year, and I want to increase that. But mine's a little bit more involved, so I'm working on that too, where I can choose a little bit more and pass a little bit more of that savings down onto everybody else because of the volume. But, if it's not going to be us, but I will tell you what to look for. So this past weekend, we were in the room with such phenomenal high-level coaches, and we do this every time we do a seminar or go to a certification. We've been doing it every year. My company went from spending $500 to $600 a year on education, and last year it was like $16,000 we spent on education and continuous education. And that is not only a testament, obviously, to us wanting to grow, but even more important that, like, you cannot just be doing the things that you did when you first got into this industry. Trust me, I'm not going to do some bodybuilding split and do it that way, because it's not very efficient. It's like, and it's not what I'm looking to do. That doesn't mean that it's not what you're looking to do, but if you are those types, like I said, either nervous to get in or you're just kind of throwing weights around, what are you training for is very specific. Like, what do you want and the more specific you are, the better off you are finding a good coach, or a good trainer. So most of the training information that you'll find, like if it's just like, hey, I want to look a little better with less on, I want to be healthier, I want to get good blood work back, I want to feel better cardiovascularly, cardiorespiratory wise, I get a little winded when I get up the stairs, that type of stuff. That's pretty easy. You could find a really good coach, through those parameters. Now, the more specific you get, like, hey, I want to do a bodybuilding show, I want to do something for sports, I want to do something for powerlifting, like I'm going to do, or like I said, sports specific. You can do those things, and I can give you a very, very easy three thing guide that's very helpful. The one thing that you should look for when you're looking for a good coach, first, is their body of work. Now, for some of you, you're thinking I mean body, and yes, that comes into play. But if we were even going in sports, or we're going into powerlifting, or we're going into some strength athletes, they're not going to be the most aesthetically pleasing. Like, I could show you some of the highest level athletes, powerlifters, and coaches, and some people in sports, that it's like, it's not always about just the aesthetic look. But what I really mean is their body of work, their business, looking at their websites, looking at their interactions, looking at the scale of their company, those types of things. And you can find those really easy. Facebook, Instagram, looking at other people who are tagged with that coach, which is really, really helpful. How do they interact with other coaches in that, which is very important too. And I look for that too. So it was really easy choice for me to work with, to want to work with Matt, because of the interactions with people in the room, but then also looking at his body of work and what was going on there. The second one, which is client reviews, or just people who have interacted or has testimonials for that person. So if you go on our Google reviews, it's like 70 reviews, 5-star reviews. And we have pictures of people, long, emotionally in-depth Google reviews that sometimes, like, I'll read and it gets me, man. Like, I'm like, I remember, working with that person. So it's like, you want to have a good testimonial or good client reviews to work for the coach, because that way you understand and see how they interact with people. Now, we have all had, bad reviews. I remember I had a client who, no excuses, I should have gotten back to her, and something had happened in my life that was very, very hard for me to deal with. And then it was just like, slip the email, this happened, zigged when I should have zagged, type of thing. And she was upset. And you do everything you can to rectify that situation. And I ended up rectifying it. It was good. But the idea is, like, we all have, those things that we should have done or could have done. It's the intention you want to see. You want to see that with their client reviews and testimonials. Very easy to do, very easy to see. Even if it's not even Google reviews, you oftentimes can see it in some of the softwares they use. So if they tell you like, hey, sign up for a consultation or sign up for this thing, like we have Wellness Living, and I think we have over like 100 reviews on that, and it was great. So you can really see that come through and kind of gauge your experience that you're going to have. Now, the third one, which is a little bit more difficult to see, but it's something that I'm looking for as a coach when I'm talking to other good coaches, like really, decent coaches or higher level coaches. I'm looking for the basic and language skills if they're using absolute language with some of their principles and they're acting like they have this piece of information that nobody else has. That I will view as a giant red flag for me to interact with them. I had a guy tell me, and this was just so mind-blowing to me, and I know that a lot of people are into sauna. I have a sauna. We have a sauna here at our place. And it was like he had said, if you do ice baths and sauna and you make sure you cut out all your carbs in your diet, you'll become the most optimal version of yourself, and they don't want you to know about it. Like, he was talking like these really absolute principles, and that is intellectually lazy. That is by far where you have been kind of not brainwashed, but you have been pretty much pushed into that other side of belief rather than what we know. Now, I'm all for going in the sauna. It is phenomenal for the heat shock proteins that you get from that to help with training. It is phenomenal with cognitive function, now helping you sleep. It is great to omit like a lot of the stuff that you have, like toxins in your body. And I say, toxins with a lot of times when you're just drinking alcohol, you jump into those, man, that alcohol comes out of you. You could smell it. You smell like a keg. But it's really a valuable tool to have for cardiovascular work, to heat up those capillaries, those arteries. So then that way you have that dilation and your heart rate does increase. So you have those, and it's really good for people who can't get their heart rate up like a crazy amount. And I say that because most people can if you work with a good coach. But then you also have like the ice bath thing, and it's like a lot of people are intellectually lazy when they're constantly throwing that people should just jump into an ice bath or jump into cryotherapy. It's like, why? Tell me why. And as long as you could tell, me why you're doing it, I'm like, I'm all for it. If you want to lower some inflammatory markers and you are peaking for some sort of MMA, boxing, wrestling match, you need to recover in between games and things like that, those are good temporary fixes. But as a long-term strategy for most people, I do not recommend it. And especially if you're a bodybuilder, you're really trying to build muscle, because that's what you're looking for, is those inflammatory markers. But I'm getting too into this right now. Sorry. People with absolute language, especially with training, it's like, I had a guy, and he had told, I remember he was like, he had trained with, like, I use, so he used like medicine balls and like clubs, and it was like, that's it. Like, you shouldn't, kettlebells are bad for your joints, and barbell squatting is only good for power lifters, and those guys are trash. They don't do this. And you're just like, this is such an intellectually lazy conversation. There's no context. It's just absolute language. So I try to stay away from them as coaches, and I try to be around people who are really living it. And I think that's really valuable. So if you are seeing and you want to be, you're being sold on an absolution with language, stay away from that person, because I could promise you this. Here's the thing. You need to lean into the work. I do something here, and I do it every 6 weeks, and eventually I'll do it every week. But I do a sculpt support here, and what we do in sculpt support is we have people come in. We have people who are interested in training, current clients that are struggling, maybe strength training with their nutrition. recovery information, anybody, just people who are just interested in any of our online services. We even do, I'll do a video chat while we do it. And we really strategize together. I sit in a room and strategize with other people. And it's been very helpful for them and for me. But the biggest thing is there's no one size fits all. And most coaches will try to, or they're not most coaches, but these types of coaches I'm telling you to stay away from, they'll sell you this easy thing. Hey, look at it if you just looked at it my way. I'm going to sell you this easy thing. And here's the thing I could promise you right fucking now. There is nothing easy about training. There's nothing easy about making those hard decisions nutritionally. There's nothing easy about going to bed, an hour early because you should, and you need the rest, and you got to stop scrolling through TikTok or watching me do a podcast or any of those things. So it's super important for you to understand that a trainer, a coach will keep you accountable. There's somebody you want to show up for. There's somebody that's going to give you the best in consistency and discipline. It's not going to be easy. It never is easy. So you have to lean into the work. And if somebody's body of work and their clients reflect it and their testimonials reflect that they are leaned into that body of work, it's a good coach to work with. So I hope that helps. I completely understand how attractive easy is and how attractive some of these influencers and coaches that are coming into it. I'm sorry, I'm not shitting on you guys. I'm just just telling you the truth. On some of you are young and some of you are old and still stuck in your ways. And I hate to sound like the old grumpy trainer, but and coach, but I just had to say it. It was something that I was really thinking about all weekend while we were in New York. But I hope that helps. If anybody is interested, we have our consultation button below. We have the link below. Click on it. It goes right to all of us. We can see it. We will reach out to you ASAP. If you are interested in private one-on-one training in Connecticut, if you are interested in semi-private, people are jumping and getting away from these just classes that are just lifting and moving to lift to move. And into something more specific geared to strength, longevity, and health span, that we are going to be the place for you. And then, of course, if you are looking for online programming, I am taking 3 clients, and I believe I have some coaches that are taking some online clients as well. We do weekly check-ins, bi-weekly check-ins, monthly check-ins, whatever you need. Specific training programs all the way to just some ones that we just kind of give to people that we have. So we have stuff for everyone, for those 3 things. So if you are looking for that, please let us know. I am out of here. I will see you guys next episode. In the next episode, I'll have a very special guest. I'm trying to get him on here, and it's awesome. So I will see you next time with a guest. I hope this helps you select the best strength coach, the best trainer you can. All right, later.